Chief Secretary reveals owners of no man's land. PNM Tobago Council claims access to Buku Reef tours unsafe, and the Transport Minister says public safety concerns led to increased fines. Good evening to you, Tobago. I am Odiko O'Neill and welcome to the Channel 5 News for today, Wednesday, the 7th of January, 2026. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine has named the owners of no man's land, reiterating that the land is not owned by the Tobago House of Assembly. He told party supporters that it was necessary to talk about the issue since it was raised on the hustings.
I spoke to the fact that part of that estate was vested in a company that was designed to take care of the build-out for the ill-fated Sandals Hotel. That piece of land belongs to CLICO. It then belongs to the THA. And the then government was trying to take it from CLICO to give it to Sandals. They never gave it to the THA. The next piece of the estate is still owned by the Latos. We don't just say Lato. The Lato people them own their land. The Lato people are them actually trying to sell their land. The THA does not own the land. So it's CLICO on one side, the Lato on the other side, and they are the owners of the land.
Augustine notes, however, that the THA does have some interest in the area.
The only piece the THA owns is a 2-acre block right before Gibson Jetty that was actually purchased from CLICO by the THA. The Buku Reef Trust used to operate from it. If you go down to Gibson Jetty now, you will see a shipping container, a small container etched out on a piece of a land. That piece is THA owned. And then after that, you have the mangrove before you get to no man's land. So I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a third time, and I will keep saying it. Because what these people are trying to do is to confuse the thing. Confuse you to the point where you either decide to vote for them or to stay home.
He explained further about ownership of the lands and the Tobago House of Assembly.
The Tobago House of Assembly does not have compulsory acquisition rights. The central government could waltz in here and tell the people down Tobago local road, leave your land. I want to build airport. Anything the THA wants to build, if private lands are involved, we have to go negotiate, hope the people want to sell the land and buy it at whatever price they're willing to sell it at. We have no compulsory acquisition rights in law. And that's why the THA has found itself in trouble in the past.
To support his point, Augustine told party supporters that in November 2026, he wrote to the chief administrator asking her to chair a team to assess whether estates, including the Lato estate, should be purchased. The issue was raised by the People's National Movement during a public meeting in late December. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine has told his political opponents that governance of Tobago remained stable despite the challenges which the party faced, such as the fallout with political leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots, Watson Duke.
We endured and we survived all of that and still found a way to govern the island, notwithstanding. Every turn, and there were days I would ask myself, but why they can't just give me a chance? At least give me a chance. Let me fail on my own merit. Don't try to orchestrate the thing so that we could fail. Don't put stumbling blocks in the way. But I have come to learn that the hotter the battle is sweeter the victory. I have come to learn that the harder they come is the harder they fall. I have come to learn that this little axe will cut down the biggest of trees. I have come to learn that you're stronger when you're on your knees.
Augustine outlined other challenges the party faced during its time in office.
I still have members of my team that have court cases going on as we speak. In fact, one should be calling on the 8th, this week itself, still battling the use of state agencies to fight down a progressive team. But I want you to appreciate that whenever a people decide that they're going to start a revolution, there is always a group that will try to squash the revolution. We saw the police on our backs. We saw EMA and all kinds of state agencies refusing to work with us. We saw a central government that did not care whether we survive or not. We saw, and tonight might be the first time I'm talking about this, and I blame them. And I believe they are very much part and parcel of the reason why a breaking up happened between myself and Mr. Duke.
Augustine was speaking at a public meeting at Mount St. George last evening. And Chief Secretary Farley Augustine tells youth in the Mount St. George community and environs to be leaders in their communities. He told them that there must be more to life than getting into idle activities.
I want to say, especially to the young men in our communities, you are supposed to be leaders in our communities, young men. You are to be leaders, and we need to start seeing you standing up and leading your community. We need you to start getting up and being part and parcel of the community organizations, of the churches, of the village councils, of the youth groups. And I'm not knocking you, because I'll be a hypocrite to stand there and knock you for smoking weed when my father smoking weed long before I born and still smoking in it like he can't done.
Augustine also told youth in the community they should not be distracted by handouts any other parties distributing so they can get votes in exchange.
I'm asking you in this election to not be caught up by the small trinkets that are being dangled in front of you right now. Where were those trinkets for the last 4 years? Did they come about and dangle it in front of you for the last 4 years? All of a sudden they have trinkets to dangle. All of a sudden. And for most of you young people, you have lived at least 2 terms of the PNM. You lived 2 terms under them. And you ain't get none of what you asked for.
Augustine was at the time appealing to the young voters in the Mount St. George community to vote. The Tobago People's Party's blueprint for Tobago's development is based on fundamental aspects of the plans for Tobago drafted since 1965, says a TPP senior official, Anselm Richards. Richards was at the time speaking about the comprehensive development plans drafted by the ruling THA administration's party.
That when we review the plans, we recognize that the issues and ideas and policies and programs from since 1963-65 after Flora was still germane to the development of Tobago. So then we didn't have a planning process, we didn't have a planning deficit. What we had was an implementation deficit for a number of reasons. The island was unable to implement the policies and programs that are necessary to transform Tobago from since 1965.
He elaborated further that the 1965 plans for Tobago were good but suffered from several challenges.
And we decided, well, look, we are not going to do another development plan. We are going to do what we call a strategic planning pathway, which is more logical and implementable, sector by sector. And we start working on that for the last 2 years. And we build that out. So we have a strategic development planning pathway to develop the island, to take the island, a pathway to take us to this great historical island. And we plan over a 20-year horizon in the first instance. And we broke it out into 5 4-year segments.
He said the TPP blueprint is rooted in the 1965 plan.
So what we have done now is harvest out the first 4 years of work that we are going to do from 2025, 2026 fiscal year, which is the current year that we're in. up to 2030, 2035 because of some of the strategies roll over into 2035. So when you go through the blueprint, you will see some of the indicators that what we are trying to achieve will reflect sometime in 2035.
The TPP unveiled its blueprint on the hustings for the THA January 12, 2026 elections. Still to come in tonight's news, more claims and accusations on the hustings, this time from the PNM. The PNM Council claims that access to Buku Reef tours are unsafe. Stay with us.
Welcome to the speed round of getting money right. Let's begin. Name some of the red flags associated with an investment scam.
Pressure tactics to invest.
Correct.
Promise of money if you bring friends.
Correct.
Request for personal information.
Correct. Bonus question. What is the penalty for operating a pyramid or Ponzi scheme?
$10 million and 10 years in prison.
Correct. Well done. The scores are even, so we go to our tiebreaker question. You receive money in your account from an investment company and they tell you to transfer it to a third account. Does that sound right?
I think about it, and that's not right.
Congratulations, you tinker! Getting Money Right is brought to you by the TTSEC. Visit investigateTT.com to access free learning resources and check the TTSEC for a list of registered individuals and securities. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything, almost anything, almost anytime, almost every day. We in every season for every reason. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything you want from a pharmacy. Just ask our pharmacist. Well, almost. We are here to serve all of you all of the time. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. 141 Chauvin Road, Buku. Call our pharmacy on 610-7634 or our supermart on 768-0723 and 766-0476. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy.
For 10 years, Pulse 89.5 FM has been the beat that moves Tobago. From the latest hits to the voices of the community, we bring the island's rhythm to life. Every day, every hour. Stay locked to Pulse 89.5 FM, the beat of Tobago. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and stream us worldwide on the TuneIn app.
Escape to elegance at Le Chateau Suites Tobago. Gated privacy, breathtaking villas, unforgettable memories, where Caribbean dreams become reality.
People's National Movement Tobago Council leader Ansel Dennis says the two areas used by visitors for decades to board vessels tour to Tobago's famous area, Buku Reef, is unsafe. Dennis was speaking at the party's Bonaccord meeting on December 6th. Speaking at the meeting about the manifesto for the party, named its Big, Bold, Red Plan, Dennis said there are plans to make them passengers' loading areas safe.
I'm saying to you that currently the access to reef boats at those two locations is not the best, and in fact it is not safe. And one of the things we will do as part of our plans, and I'm not making up anything here because you will see it in the big deal if you read it, we will establish a new floating jetty at Store Bay so that people can access and board reef boats down there safely, and we will bring significant repairs and upliftment to the jetty at Pigeon Point.
Dennis, who was THA's Chief Secretary briefly in 2020, said the plans to make the loading areas safe is part of the PNM's design to make Crown Point Tobago's major liming spot.
And I want you to envision that road from the junction going into Pigeon Point, going straight down all the way to the Store Bay entrance thereabout. We are going to put in new sidewalks at the side of the road. We will widen the sidewalks to give more access to pedestrians.
We will beautify it. We will add some greenery and some plants, and of course some more lighting, and we will change the road from asphalt to cobblestone, and we will call it the West Side Strip.
The PNM's Tobago Council leader said the Big Red Bold plan includes plans to also improve the marine park in the Crown Point area. Meanwhile, former Member of Parliament for Tobago West, Shamfa Kajo-Lewis, who also spoke on the PNM's Bon Accord platform, made a startling revelation regarding the loss of her seat on April 28, 2025 in the general elections.
Whether the management of my campaign sat quietly in my stay with me. I say whether the management of my campaign sat quietly in my strategy session but feeding information to the opposition, then today celebrating that I lost the election, I want to tell them that does not faze me. I remain PNM. So who want to undermine, who want to buy votes, who want to tell lies all the way to victory, it is up to them. As for me and my house, we fight our battles with integrity.
Wading into TPP, the former MP said a PNM member told her that many people are following the TPP.
I went to Penny Savers on Saturday, making my little grocery, and a woman walked up to me. She said, "You are Shamfa Kojo, right?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm from Charlottesville, and I am a ring-dong PNM. But let me tell you something. I see what you're doing. Don't waste your time. The people, them fully brainwashed. They're gone. They ain't coming back."
Kajo-Lewis said people will return to the PNM.
I understand that, yes, they have been brainwashed, but sooner than later they would return to their rightful senses. Because we have been here before. When we had 33-3 in 1986, they thought the PNM was done. We outlived the days of having one person in the Tobago House of Assembly, and here we are. We have seen 12-0, and we have seen 14-1, brothers and sisters.
She said the PNM will work on getting back into power, as it is an organization working on pursuing the vision of its party's founding leader, Dr. Eric Williams. The act of People's National Movement using the spiritual word to predict the outcome of the Tobago House of Assembly elections has once again reared its head on the hustings. This time, a first-time candidate tells of a veteran using a crystal ball to predict the outcome of a particular seat. Kervin Hosford, popularly known as Harvest God, mounted the PNM Bon Accord platform to tell his tale.
Before I come on stage, the old man pulled me in the back. He said, "Harvest God, this is my crystal ball. And if it's one thing about this, it don't lie." And he started dancing it up in his hand a bit. He said, "Look at this. Your next year representative in Plymouth Lescott in Bethesda Golden Lane is the right guy."
During the April 28, 2025 general elections at many polling stations across Tobago, officials reported seeing salt being splattered across many polling stations' entrances. Salt is used in many religious practices around the world to ward off evil. In 2021, former PNM Assistant Secretary Shamari Hector accused some senior PNM members of using necromancy and witchcraft during the THE elections. Hector, who ran for the Bethel Mount Irvin seat, said he had proof of these actions and also claimed that the Progressive Democratic Patriots, the PDP party, used similar practices. He made these accusations in a Facebook post explaining that he went public because the Holy Spirit had spoken to him, warning that, quote, "order is required or there will be an explosion that will destroy us all," end quote. Later, Hector said that if he had the chance to address similar issues in the party, he would do so privately. Meanwhile, the PNM's Darrell Spring WIM incumbent and candidate Kelvin Morris has registered his dissatisfaction with the government's increase in the late renewal driver's permit fees. Taking to social media, Morris said the TPP is complicit in making the public suffer. He wrote, quote, "The TPP and the UNC promised less tax and lower fees. Months later, they raised taxes and double fees, making groceries, transport, light bills, and rent harder for the small man," end quote. He is calling on Tobagonians to register their unhappiness with the fees by voting for the PNM in the January 12, 26 THA elections. He said, quote, "Tobago gets its first chance to show how fed up we are with these wicked measures backed by the 2 TPP MPs and the Chief Secretary. Tobago, it's time to tell the TPP ride out," end quote. We'll take a break and come back with more news for you. Stay with us.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax, we will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
There are some new developments in housing in Tobago. Goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Cathedral Credit Union is celebrating big. Get up to $81,000 at just 0.8% interest with our anniversary loan. And because Christmas is in the air, we're spreading cheer with up to $60,000 at only 1%. Visit cathedralcutt.com or call 235-6947 today. Cathedral Credit Union. Member owned, member focused.
To vote is simple. The Elections and Boundaries Commission advises that before Election Day, you should receive your poll card in the mail. Open it to find the address of your polling station. Keep the poll card safe and take it with you on Election Day. If you did not receive your poll card in the mail, you can still vote. A poll card will be prepared for you at your polling station. You can also visit the EBC's website at www.ebctt.com or call the hotline at 785-8206 or 785-8211 to find your polling station. On Election Day, you should check the list posted outside your polling station for your name and number. Where there are several polling stations on the same compound, an information officer will direct you to your polling station. Polling agents who act on behalf of candidates are there to witness the process. If your name is on the list of electors and you have a valid ID card, you join the green line. All other persons, including physically incapacitated, blind or visually impaired persons, should join the red line. You are required to sign your poll card in front of the poll clerk. The deputy presiding officer examines your hands and fingers. If there is no evidence of electoral ink stains, you're issued a ballot paper. The deputy presiding officer also demonstrates how to mark and fold a ballot paper using the guidance ballot and how to vote with the X stamp. The ballot paper is folded to display the initials of the deputy presiding officer and the polling station number. A blind, visually impaired or physically incapacitated person is allowed to vote with the assistance of a companion. In the privacy of the voting booth, you vote by placing an X at the right of your candidate's symbol. If you make a mark other than an X, your ballot will be rejected and not counted. Fold your ballot paper as you were previously shown by the deputy presiding officer and proceed to the officer in charge of the ballot box. Display your folded ballot paper with the initials of the deputy presiding officer and polling station number. You will then be required to dip your finger in the electoral ink before you are allowed to place your ballot paper in the ballot box. If you refuse to dip your finger in the electoral ink, you will not be allowed to vote. When you've finished with this process, wipe off the excess ink. Any problem you encounter in the polling station should be brought to the attention of the presiding officer. To vote is your right. Exercise it. A message from the Elections and Boundaries Commission, your partners in democracy.
Minister of Transportation and Civil Aviation Eli Zakur cited lawlessness and public safety concerns as rationales for the steep increases in traffic fines. Despite promises by the UNC on the campaign trail to reduce traffic fines, Zakur says once in office as the government, they were confronted with the stark reality of errant behavior on the roads and had to act.
Campaign trail. We do not have access to the operational data, the statistical data. But since assuming office, we have access to all data. And the lawlessness is worse than what we thought. So the government had to act decisively and put measures in place to protect lives.
Zakur says the only ones who need worry are those who break the law.
Choose the penalties has lost their effectiveness and dangerous driving persists. Government has to act. We cannot be subject to a popularity contest when lives are at stake. So the government acted.
Zakur says this is not an exercise on revenue generation for the government. If fines and penalties work as intended, the government would collect less revenue from this measure and not more. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar stated that the increases in fines, traffic fines, may be reconsidered if there is a demonstrable improvement in public behavior. President of the All Tobago Fisherfolk Association, ATFA, Curtis Douglas, says there was no consultation with the association regarding the commencement of blasting activities in the waters in Tobago. Douglas says this is the latest in the chapter of disregard and disrespect for fisherfolk's livelihood.
Survey in exploration for gas, natural gas, what it does, the seismic survey data have shown, and over the last 15 years would have shown that it runs the fish. So all like the flying fish, the tuna, the snappers and all of them, it runs them for at least 2 to 3 years. So it makes it quite difficult for fisherfolk to ply the trade or to even maintain their families because it brings hardship upon the fisherfolk. And no one took the time off to even meet with us in that regards to say, let's discuss, because Centrica and other companies would have, what they would have done, they would have made an arrangement with us so that the fisherfolk can be compensated.
Douglas says fisherfolk understand the need for exploration, but compensation must be part of the discussion, and ATFA is best able to provide a listing of bona fide fisherfolk who would be affected by these activities.
The president of ATFA and the fishing fraternity has no problem in they going ahead. But what we are saying, they must meet the middle ground with the people of Tobago, the fisher folk, to ensure that when they win, we win. So it must be a collaborated effort between the fishing industry, with the fisher folk, ATFA, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and the THE, where we sit down around a round table and come to a consensus.
The political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus, is standing in defense of Tobago fisherfolk whose livelihood is threatened by what she calls a secretive and reckless government decision to allow offshore seismic blasting in waters off Tobago. In a release, the party noted that the blasting is expected to commence soon, and yet there has been no consultation, no meaningful environmental study, assessment, and no transparent engagement with communities that would be impacted by this agreement. Dr. Angus continued that it is shameful that the government would issue a certificate of environmental clearance to begin seismic exploration that involves blasting and poses a well-documented risk to marine life, fish stock, and the very survival of small-scale fishing communities. Angus is calling for the EMA to halt all offshore seismic activity until a full, transparent, and participatory environmental impact assessment can be conducted. In addition, she says fisherfolk and coastal communities be formally consulted, heard, and respected as primary stakeholders, and that the EMA act independently and professionally, free from intimidation and political pressure to rush approvals in the interests of corporate and electoral timelines. She notes that Tobagonians were told in the last election that offshore blocks would be leveraged responsibly for Tobago's benefit. The IDA says it stands with fisherfolks and with Tobago and will not be silent while our sea is put on the auction block, Angus added. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association, Alan Ferguson, is calling on the TTPS to do its job and police people selling scrap iron in the country. He made the call after Warner's Construction Limited Tobago reported that over the Christmas and New Year's holidays, thieves broke into the company's storage facility at the Mount St. George Tobago branch. They stole all the cable used for its operations. In addition, the thieves went underground, pulled out and cut live electrical wires attached to the company's crushing plant. Ferguson said he is making the call to the police in light of the 2022 Scrap Metal Act and the Scrap Metal Regulations 2023, which impose strict rules on industry. The laws require dealers to be licensed, set purchase hours from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and require collected scrap to be held for 15 days before alteration or export to prevent theft. Breaking the law incurs hefty fines of up to $1 million and imprisonment for violations, including dealing with intoxicated individuals, altering material prematurely, and purchasing scrap for or from people under the age of 18. Let's go now to your weather forecast. For tonight will be generally fair and cool with a gentle breeze. There is a low chance of the odd brief shower. Tomorrow, generally sunny and at times breezy despite the low chance of 1 or 2 showers, mainly from the afternoon period. Nighttime will be mostly fair despite a few showers after midnight. Seas are moderate, winds northeast to east-southeast 5 to 35 kilometers per hour. Waves in open water 1.5 meters to 2 meters, and sheltered areas near 1 meter. High tides is at 7:36 a.m. and 7:43 p.m. Low tides is at 1:18 a.m. and 1:38 p.m. Sunrise is at 6:24 and sunset is at 5:55. Tomorrow's temperatures should reach a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius and fall to 23 degrees. And before we go, let's look at our headlines once again. Chief Secretary reveals owners of no man's land. PNM Tobago Council claims access to Buku Reef tours unsafe. And Transport Minister says public safety concerns led to increased fines. And that's where we leave you tonight here on Channel 5 News Desk. On behalf of our news team and our technical crew, I am Odika O'Neill wishing you a good night. Stay safe.